Matt, this season, how come the defensive connectedness never clicked in a sustainable manner?
Yeah. Obviously getting behind plays, like when you face a team where everybody can shoot threes, like your ability to guard the basketball has to be pretty good, because when you struggle there and they break you down off the dribble to go along with schematically stretching you out, like now it really causes problems for you. And now you get into rotations that you don't want to be in. And I just think, like, I got to do a better job, obviously, like starting the game of just like what they're running. Obviously, we played them earlier in the year, and so we have that experience. We have that experience of going against their style and doing different things. They went to some things a little bit more than they did the first time. They just didn't go to their ball screen motion all the time, and they really tried to isolate, which they've done a lot of isolating lately. And so, like, for us, like, we really try to load up in those isolations and then just do a better job on the basketball. But we adjusted at halftime after we were just so behind on rotations, and just went to a drop. And it wasn't something that just foiled him, but now he's living in the paint. And so, like, you got to live with that, and you try to keep it 2-on-2, and then you got to be able to veer back and switch some things if they pick the ball up early. So I thought that helped, but it wasn't obviously a cure-all there. I think the word you use is a key word, because once we have some of those breakdowns, it's really hard for us to catch up.
You had a couple different surges in this game that were really caused by defense. The one in the first half where I think you turned them over 4 times in 90 seconds. The one in the second half that Fletcher was leading. Is that encouraging that you're still having those bursts, that if you can repeat them? Or is it frustrating that you can't repeat them?
You're just not consistent enough, whether, like, when you look at, like, the possessions of the game, like, and you have 12 more rebounds than them, you have 1 fewer turnover like that, and you got 13 more possessions. Like, you're giving yourself some real opportunities in there. But yeah, if you can get stops, like, you're going to make those runs a lot better. Like, that, ideally, and that's how you gain the momentum of the game. And that we were never able to do that. We had a couple good stretches there, but we were never able to, get them down by 2-3 possessions. And that's unfortunate. You have to do it better. They shot the ball well. They executed well. You have to give them credit.
We've heard you talk 1,000 times about your teams not playing through their offense defensively. Has that been an issue that they never got out of their system?
I don't know if it's like out of their system or whatever. Like, we're a really good offensive team. Like, we did some really good things today. Offensively, you shoot 51% from the floor. You shoot 44%. You like to get to the free throw line a little bit more. They got to the free throw line more than us. But their numbers are just off the charts. So we've had games like this but the other team didn't shoot as well. And so then you feel better about it. And that's, as a staff, we've always talked about, like, hey, like, we got to fight this. Like, we got to fight it, because the games that, you don't get to that point, you just can't outscore everybody. And that's you want that balance. But just have to be better on the basketball. Like, you just being able to guard the basketball, simply nothing schematic about it. That when we have those breakdowns, that really, like, that hurts us. When we get in rotations, it's hard for us once we get into those rotations. But when people play 5 out and they're sticking their center in the corner, so then, like, when you give over help with your size, like, now you got to be able to stay out. Well, now they're pulling your size away from the rim. Like, you want rim protection, you want size there, and now they put you in some different spots there. But yeah, it's frustrating as a coach. Like, but it's the buck stops here. Like, that's on me. I got to do a better job helping them.
Hey, Coach. If you look at the series between these two teams, I think it's dead even now since 2000. I think 7 of the last 10 have been decided by 4 points or less. A few of those have decided Big Ten championships. I don't want to throw the word rivalry around, but I was just curious, your thoughts about, what maybe you think this series has been brewing into maybe the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, well, it's a traditional rivalry. Anytime you're dealing with two teams that have been in the Big Ten for a very, very long time, they're tough, they're well coached. I think it's something that, it's an honor to be able to go into Madison and be able to pull out a victory just like that is for them to be able to come here, because we know how hard it is. We know how tough their guys are. We know how competitive it is. And, you know, from Dick Bennett to Bo to now Greg, like they've had a lot of consistency here in the last 25 years. And they're a great program.
And I don't think in the current iteration of college basketball we'll see something like this again, where you have 3 guys who have played 4 years together, and
Right.
you know, it's maybe easier to keep them happy because they played a lot. But how special is it to have a group like that that has stuck around like the way they have and
Right.
never left? You know, Braden says he thinks that's kind of how it is at Purdue, but even you've lost guys, so
Right.
to have these guys stick around for 4 and 5 years.
Yeah, it is special, you know, to be able for those guys to stick around. They get their degrees, they grow together. And this was something that was just very, very normal 10, 20, 30 years ago. It's just what you did, right? You know, and now, since people don't have to sit out when they transfer, it's a lot easier. I think that's more than anything. And then obviously, when you look at the money factor with name, image, and likeness, now they can compare and contrast, like where they are, where they're going, like what they're looking for. And I always say, like, those moves have to be good basketball moves and good life moves too. And that's the one thing here that we were able to have, is like help them from a foundation standpoint. They shouldn't just get a scholarship to Purdue and then just have a good basketball career and that's it. You know, when you get a scholarship like that, like, you got an advantage. Like, you got an advantage. You got so many people, if you learned how to treat people the right way, that's now going to be there for you. Like, we all in our careers have had success. And like, you think about, well, how in the hell did you get an opportunity? How'd you get to that point? Well, people helped you get to that point. And being able to have it, a lot of the guys that move a lot, like, it's good if that works for you basketball wise or whatever. But like, when you have a foundation where you stay at a school for 4 or 5 years and you're there, I mean, man, that's, now you have a lot of different people helping you in life. And that's how I've gotten jobs. Like, you know, a lot of people at Purdue have helped me, you know, before I got back here. Like, that's just the way it is. We had that network of people that when you were done playing, they weren't done with you. And I was a terrible player. And so, like, the fact that I was able to come back here just at times blows me away, because, like, they've always been loyal. Bruce Weber's always been loyal to me. Gene Katie's always been loyal to me, like the Purdue faithful. Like, then that's something special. Like, I can't help those 2 guys I just mentioned because they're a lot older than I am, but now that's my turn. I got to be able to help those guys when they make those sacrifices and they commit to our program and they give what they've given. Like, now, like, you know, the rest of their life, like, you know, I'm on call. And that's what you do for people. But I'm not the only person on call. I think that's what's really cool about Purdue. It's a great network.
I don't want to misquote you on this, but I think you've said in the past, sometimes building a team for the Big Ten and then building a team for March Madness can be sometimes 2 separate things.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this team is better equipped to go through March Madness
I hope so.
than the Big Ten grind?
I hope so. I'll definitely tell my counselor that. You know, I know this. When you're in charge, you got to own it, because like, this is on me. Us being 6-4 at home, like, that's, like, you can talk to your blue in the face. I can talk basketball all day long with you, but like, you got to figure it out about your team, and I haven't done a good job with that. And you know, like, I own that, like, more than anything. But yeah, I think that, to your question, like, that can, like, you don't know who you're going to play. So you got to be careful how you speak. Right? Oh yeah, we'll be a better tournament team or whatever. You have to get some matchups that are favorable. You got to play well. You got to go there. You're like, hey, I liked our matchup. You're like, okay. Like, well, you got to still play well. You got to still be functional in what you're doing. But I'm excited about it. Like, I'm not, like I said out there, like, we're not giving into this shit. Like, you know, we're the people that do it. You know, you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to watch tape. You got to figure it out, and then you got to get, like, now. I like the Big Ten tournament. Like, now, like, you know, you figure out who you're going to play, or you figure out who you're going to play from a winner, and now you you sit and play that waiting game. Then you got to get ready real quick. And then now when the NCAA tournament hits, now you got 4 days, right? You got a Thursday game, or you got 5 days, you got a Friday game. And so, like, now you got to get your team ready. These guys have been through a lot of experiences. And so, like, yeah, that's our plan. Like, hopefully, you know, playing our best basketball at the end. Obviously, we haven't played our best basketball here, you know, in the last 10 games.
Coach, you kind of already touched on this, but knowing how great this senior class is, how frustrating is it that they leave Mackey Arena on a loss like this?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. It's very, you feel as a coach that you've let them down, because you have. I thought our effort was good tonight. We have to be better from a defensive standpoint, but I got to do a better job of helping them. So it's a very frustrating, disappointing feeling. But the silver lining is it's not over. And you got to keep, plugging and you got to keep fighting.
With the combination of Blackwell and Boyd, I kind of figured this would be a game you would see a lot of Jakari Harris with CJ.
Yeah.
Didn't play Jakari very much.
No.
Anything behind that?
No, nothing. He didn't do anything wrong. I just stuck with the other guys more than anything. And that's like when you sit there and you look, you look at where C.J. Cox played in the previous game. You look where he's played the whole year. Fletch had it going, shooting the basketball. Braden has 9 assists, 0 turnovers. I thought Omer, did some good things, for us. It's unfortunate when you play somebody more, it's going to affect somebody. It's just going to affect somebody. And I feel terrible because G's worked really hard. He's done some really good things for us. But that's just part of it. It's
aside from them hitting, 18 threes instead of 4, kind of where do you feel like this Wisconsin team has grown the most since the last time you guys went up against them?
Yeah, they didn't seem like they're on the same page when we played the first time. And obviously they are now. And that's what competition does. Competition, wakes you up. Now I think our game was probably one of the most important games they had all year because, since then, they've still stubbed their toe a couple times like the rest of us. But to win at Illinois, at Michigan, and at Purdue speaks volumes for the makeup of this team. And, they do it today without Nolan Winter, who's a big piece of what they do. And, they're going to be a tough out in that NCAA tournament.
Coach, you've already talked about it, but rotation issues on defense have killed you guys multiple times this season already. And now, there's 2 games guaranteed for you guys left in this season.
Right.
And there's no quick fix for issues on defense, but you've got a week until you've got to fix it. What's kind of the idea going into Big Ten tournament play with the issues on defense?
Yeah, well, it's obviously when you're going to face a different team, you're going to face different issues, right? You can't give a carte blanche answer because you don't know who you're going to play. When you play Michigan State, how you handle ball screen defense and how you handle it here could be different just because of the volume of threes. They take over 30 threes a game. And so when you get behind with them, their point guard causes a lot of problems for us. Boyd causes a lot of problems for us. So we really wanted to stop him and not let him get into the paint. But with that, now you got to be able to rotate as you stop him. We adjusted to that at halftime, and then that's why you saw a lot of switches then as he drove the ball, because you got to pop back, which we call a veer back, and then take that guy. All right. So now you got a big at the rim with him. And now you got to stop that. Now you got to pop back to that. Well, if there's enough time on the clock, now you don't have the matchups you want, right? You stop the action by doing that, but now you don't have the action that you want. And then we knew that. So we really didn't want to get to that. We were kind of forced to get to that, but our rotations just weren't very good, and we weren't breaking their rhythm. One thing when you deal with those guys, you got to be able to break their rhythm. And then they got into some ISOs with us, and you got to take up their space, especially when they get to the wing. You got to go up and take up their space and make it difficult, especially Blackwell. Whatever. Now you let him dribble and get comfortable to shoot the basketball. Now, and he got it going. A couple times we had to crowd him and really press up into him. But if he was going to beat us, now let's get him to the baseline where we have help. Don't let him get to the middle of the floor. So when you sit there and dissect 18 threes, there's a lot of different scenarios. Like people that cover the game, you want an answer for it because it's not one thing. It's Boyd getting past your big guy, leading to something. It's Boyd getting the ball out of his hands quick. It's Boyd splitting your ball screen. And so, however you get to it, right? However you got to be able to keep the ball in front of you, because once it does, now you got to overhelp, and now you got skill out there, and it makes it very, very difficult.
Coach, you talked about this on the floor, but Fletcher breaking the record tonight for threes. How impressive has that been for you to watch? Just how he's been the last 4 years.
Yeah, he's worked really hard. He's sacrificed a lot. He's put a lot of time into You know, and I talked out there about working from game to game. People don't understand that. If you got 5 days off, 6 days off, 3 days off, it's still your time in between games to work. He does a really good job of that, of getting himself from a physical standpoint with our training staff in the weight room, but also watching film, working on those games. Those guys, those 3 dudes, they work on their games nonstop. Not to say that other guys on our team don't, but they've just been here so long, right? And so you see the work every single day. It's not something where they come in and out of it to where they shoot every day for 3 weeks and now we don't see him for 2. It's an everyday deal, and they put time in. But no, I was happy for him. Like he deserves, you know, that accolade to be able to do it because he's obviously shot the ball very, very well for us. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yep.